Perfect. So, Elias, thanks so much. Honestly, it's always a big yes for me whenever there's a community event. I love being part of it because I get to learn, and it's a true coming together of the like-minded individuals under one umbrella, right? So, spending time, networking. Of course, networking happens in different contexts in the current times, virtually, but nevertheless, it's interesting time to be developing the industry. Ton of innovation happening when it comes to Azure. So thank you for the opportunity for me to probably share my perspective today. And I'll spend the next 20, 25 minutes or so just to go over some of the key industry tenets and how we as Microsoft complementing that dominantly, because at the end of the day, innovation is in one track. And of course, that has to align absolutely well with what the industry needs, or rather, at times, as a platform provider, you get to define where the industry heads from here on. Yeah. So morning once again, everyone, and thanks for joining in. And as Elias mentioned, I lead this group called Microsoft Technology Center. The best part of my job is I get to talk to one customer every single day, and these customers definitely bring in significant challenge to the table. And it's truly a privilege to be at Microsoft and talking to customers, and ability for us as a company, as a team to drive impact for customers. Yeah. So we'll get started right away. And again, so if you look at the trend line, this is something which I gathered from one of the latest trend articles from Gartner. But all of us can believe this dominantly, right? If you look at the current trend line, yes, we talk about everything revolves around people, right? All of us currently are connected to this medium, virtual world, and what matters is the focus on me as an individual? Answer is yes. Second, of course, is location independence, irrespective of where. And we always spoke about anytime, anywhere, any device, right? I mean, honestly, that construct, design thinking, is being felt by each one of us in the current times, right? I mean, in the past, we kind of said many times in many forums, but last 12 months have been too disruptive, and location independence is central to anything that happens from here on in the tech industry. Of course, resilient delivery, right? For a business, for them to stay agile, for them to probably become composable, right? End of the day, in the technology world, we use a term called composite architectures. Now, can a business be constructed by composing key services that they offer the outside world and be resilient? Because resilience is critical, because when something happens like what happened in the last 12 months, you should be able to kind of slice and dice, mix and match, and move forward. I think that's probably is a dire need, and this sets the precedence in terms of as a platform provider, how do we complement these three tenets in the industry? Of course, all of us understand this part, right? So customer needs are changing every single day, and for customers who probably felt, they can go on a specific track for a longer time without adopting technology. For them, I think they're on the back foot, and today, more than ever, there's a need for technology to be infused in those organizations. And again, we must have heard a lot of, I would say, statement being made in the industry. Our CEO Satyanarayana said this a while back, saying 2 years of digital transformation happened in 2 years, two months rather, right? That's a reality, and no industry is left behind here. Every single industry, as you see here, from automotive telecommunication, there is a dire need being felt by, I would say, leaders, where technology probably is the only bridge that is required for business to thrive in the modern world. Now, I talk to each of these customers, and end of the day, what they expect, what they look forward to is an experience, right? Look at it this way. Today, if you're listening to me on various channels, if you join in on let's say LinkedIn, YouTube, etc., for you, what matters is the experience of how this content is getting delivered. For me, as a presenter, what matters to me is the aids I have at my disposal, where I can experience the platform and deliver talk to at an optimum level. Or that if somebody is in the manufacturing industry, healthcare, for them what matters is on the day-to-day work, how are they staying productive, and what matters there is experience, right? So with that, let's talk about the first key, I would say, trend line in the industry, which is total experience, right? As Microsoft, we've kind of spoken about this for a long time. We call it digital feedback loop. But again, if you look at the Gartner's strategic trend 2021, they use the term called total experience. It is absolutely coming together of the customer, employee, and pretty much, doesn't matter whether you're for an individual contributor or a team leader or a leader or a customer, employee, consumer, what matters end of the day is the user experience, right? You might use any technology of your choice, any platform of your choice, but what gets rendered to the consumer endpoint, we can use the term for endpoints, is an experience, right? So that way, more than ever in the current times, the focus by every single one of us as developers in the industry is to look at how can we offer that superior personalized experiences across the board. Now, the second trend line I would say, which is again a term you might have heard, Internet of Behavior, right? IoT, largely we see infusion of that in the current times, but what happens after that? IoT leads to explosion of data. They're the data producers, right? I mean, today we talk about intelligent insights, but where does data get produced, right? In addition to all the signals in enterprise, IoT is dominantly going to create massive corpus of data in the industry. Now, when that happens, we capture data, but meaningfully, when we look at insights, you have to apply it back to the human actors, right? In terms of making sure that the behavioral change. I'll give you a simple example. I walked into the office a month back. As I walked into the lobby of my office in Microsoft, I saw few new gadgets, right? There is a camera trying to do thermal sensing. As I walk through a specific zone, it looks at I'm wearing mask, right? So now all those data insights have been captured, and eventually the signals that are being generated from these devices will be used to change behavior of individuals as they navigate through real estate, as an example, right? So this is a very important tenet, I must admit, because we talk about insights, and IoT complementing that will be is a great move from there on. Now, as Microsoft, I'm sure each of you must have caught up with a recent Ignite conference, Spring Edition, right, where our CEO Satya Nadella spoke about the cloud for the next decade, and these are the five kind of pillars he laid out in terms of if one has to thrive in the modern computing world. Eventually, these are the 4 or 5 things that comes as a foundation, right? I mean, end of the day, we talk about our view, which is intelligent cloud, intelligent edge. That's been something we've been speaking for a long time. But eventually, when it comes to intelligent edge, I think that's probably we realize the need for it. And when we talk about decentralized computing, right? I mean, it's no more a centralized approach towards problem solving, right? I mean, we have to look at how can we get compute closer to where data is getting generated. Simple example, healthcare industry. We talk about in the current times maintaining social distancing in the lobby areas and wherever there are more people. Now, can we look at sending the data to the cloud and make inference? Absolutely not practical. Can we look at compute environment closer to data and see if we can make inferences? Yes. That's where the power of intelligent edge comes in the picture. And of course, we talk about ambient intelligence, which actually complements the edge philosophy dominantly. Of course. So in here, the need of the hour is ability for us to complement the need for creators, be it students, developers, any leaders, business users, doesn't matter. But how can I complement their need and empower them with productive tools and technologies, right? Now, of course, when we look at all this as industry, right, we look at, I need a head start as, let's say, a manufacturing company, or let's look at a simple boutique shop, which sells, let's say, which sell, let's say, clothes, right? I mean, they may not be online today. And how can we provide a launch pad for specific industries, for them to get up and running, right? That's where a shift that happened in the way we are thinking as a company. I always felt that innovations aligned to industries will happen gradually over a period of time, but fortunately, considering how the industry is evolving and the needs are changing every single day, that led to, as Microsoft announcing industry clouds. I think this is probably path-breaking in my perspective, right? I mean, we talk about, as a business, I need a launch pad. It can't get better than this, right? These are the 5 clouds. Of course, all of you must know healthcare and retail were around some time back, but what gets added to that list is financial services, manufacturing, and non-profits. Right? This is as I said, all the plumbing work required by any business to get up and running. It's being done, I would say, by these industry clouds. And what is complementary to all these things would be ISV solutions, which sits around the peripheral, I would say, trail, which you can plug and play, right? We talk about establishing discipline in an enterprise at the core, and establishing also flexibility at the edge. And it can't be a better example for us to talk about how industry clouds complement that philosophy of discipline at the core and flexibility at the edge. Right. By the way, all of this is powered by Microsoft Cloud, which basically is a classic manifestation of each of these blocks that you see. Of course, Azure is the foundation. There is architectural coherence across the board. There is data model which is common across the board. That way, you don't feel that they're independent blocks. They all are together. And at the end of the day, if you're a developer, if you're an architect, the bigger challenge you face today is how do I establish bridges between systems? How do I ensure systems communicate seamlessly? How do they interoperate across the board without any proprietary, I would say, communication protocols or message protocols? That's where Microsoft Cloud, which basically is this visual, is a classic manifestation of how there is coherence in architecture, data model, and integration techniques to build solutions which matter most for consumers, customers, and employees, and thrive in the modern world. Let's look at a few innovations, by the way. As I said, Ignite conference happened last month, and a ton of new innovations happened. And as you see right here, in fact, this is the fourth generation of evolution we're seeing, right? First was, of course, mainframe. Second was PCs. Third was mobile phone. And fourth, we call it as mixed reality. Mixed reality, in fact, I'm sure you can relate to the statement of mine, which is, right, when pandemic happened. We're still in the midst of pandemic, but each of us felt that wish I could have a glimpse of what's happening at my office, at my manufacturing plant, at the hospital, at the retail store. Using any device, for example, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, right? Yes, these are becoming a necessity. It's not a luxury anymore. People felt this is cool. This cool tech, and let's experience it. No, it's no more. It's no more that quotient exists for sure, but it is a necessity for us to embrace these technologies and see how we can stay productive every single day. Now, on that trail, yes, Microsoft Mesh was announced, and of course, Mesh developer kit SDK was also announced, which probably is in private preview. You should sign up for that. But otherwise, if you want to build those experiences, if you want to talk about how do I bring in location independence, how can I be omnipresent, right? I mean, I can be anywhere I want on a given day, and having an ability for me to have an interaction with anybody on the globe is truly an experience. And that's where, if you look at it, here can be anywhere is such an apt statement, right? So Mesh is one, I would say, great announcement that happened. And in fact, the second one, right, we talk about data. See, all of us, when you look at Azure, you look at, if you're a full stack developer, I mean, more than ever, I would say, your front end is completely democratized. You don't have to spend too much time in the front end because there is low code environments being built. You talk about middleware, yes, there is significant focus given to make sure that you complement the API economy. But foundation is data, right? If you look at analytics, we talk about advanced analytics. Synapse, which again is a path-breaking innovation from Microsoft. It brings in structured world, unstructured world together. I think Synapse Pathway was announced, wherein you can build pipelines and you can also automate data movement from other popular data warehousing technologies, data warehousing platforms, right? I mean, this is something that's significant. In fact, if you ask me, the true power of Synapse is, of course, Synapse sits on any data repository, but in the current times, looking at how enterprises are looking at constructing a single version of truth, yes, data lake becomes a foundation. Synapse becomes a analytics layer, and of course, with the power of CRM and customer insights coming to the picture and Power BI visualization, yes, if you're looking at as retail in the industry, manufacturing, banking, finance, insurance, if you're looking at constructing customer 360, Synapse and customer insights beautifully complement that philosophy. That's where, if you ask me, as I said earlier, I talk to a lot of customers every single day, and the bigger challenge I have is, while I have multiple data signals coming into my enterprise, how do I meaningfully construct a single version of truth and have one perspective of a persona or a customer, right? These technologies absolutely complement that. But let's look at when I said customer needs are changing. Yes, absolutely. Look at the stats here. Um, 90% enterprises have adopted IoT in 2020. I mean, this is great news because see, for artificial intelligence to be reality, we need data which represents the worldview. It's a hard problem to solve to represent the worldview in unison, but closer to reality is what we want, and more data is better, right? So that's where AI will definitely be more meaningful for organizations and relevant if they have more data. That is absolutely one step forward. And of course, we're looking at intelligent edge. Edge adoption is absolutely magnifying in the current times, and we're moving from connected world, which we said earlier in terms of cloud connectivity for data processing, etc., to intelligent edge. That means ability for us to make intelligent inferences at the edge with the compute environment. Classic example is you have a camera and a camera has a compute environment. Can I deploy a machine learning model onto the camera? And if the camera, whatever the vision that the camera gets, eventually inference happens right there, right? And eventually moving towards autonomy. That means without human interventions, ability for us to pretty much take decisions, intelligent decisions, and make meaningful impact on the ground. I mean, that's the evolution we're seeing. And for starters, if you should look up Project Bonsai. Project Bonsai is our autonomous system platform, and that's something which for people who invest in their time and energy in the field of AI, it's powered by reinforcement learning, deep reinforcement learning. So let's take a look at that. Otherwise, edge adoption is absolutely up there, and on that trail, as Microsoft, we announced Azure Percept, right? We talk about securing IoT devices. We talk about if you look at Azure Sphere, which is our homegrown microcontroller unit. We always said that it is secure from silicon to the cloud. That philosophy is extended to any edge OEM that we're working with today. So we start with ASUS, by the way, and you get hardware and developer kits from ASUS, which will help you build intelligent edge solutions. Of course, powered by Azure Percept Studio. Percept Studio completely democratizes the way you look at connecting your edge infrastructure to the cloud, ability for you to manage them, and also making sure that you can deploy machine learning models onto the edge with least intervention when it comes to utilities and tools. So Percept Studio, again, it sits on top of IoT Hub if you look at it from Azure standpoint, but Percept is a big step forward in ensuring we democratize the space as well, in addition to everything that's happening in the technology world. Now, again, we always said that yes, when it comes to innovate anywhere with Azure, to offer anytime, anywhere, any device computing. So there are multiple building blocks, by the way, right? So Azure Arc is something which was announced. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of Arc. Today, if you look at compute environment, it is not restricted to it is not restricted within the firewall of a company. It is omnipresent, honestly, right? It can be in my house, it can be in other cloud, it can be an edge device. All the stuff comprises, or they eventually become an enterprise asset. Now, how do we stay in control? Can I get a single pane of glass where I get to monitor all the devices irrespective of where they reside today? On-premise, public cloud, other cloud environment, doesn't matter, right? So modernized productivity is something which probably is the foundation. That's what is powered by my M365. But from Azure standpoint, yes, Arc and stack from a location-independent compute environment standpoint, and Arc to manage that environment. Of course, IoT and AI is something which we just spoke. But again, coming back to yes, we spoke about these 5 key tenets, which is decentralized computing, ambient intelligence, which is again complementary to Microsoft's worldview, which is intelligent cloud, intelligent edge, but ability for us to complement or empower creators, data producers, communities across the board on the very I would say very trail of impacting their lives with more economic opportunities. And what is central to all of this, right? End of the day, if you're a developer or if you're a business or enterprise, what matters today is you becoming a technology company. The tech intensity, what we call it in the Microsoft parlance, that's something has to be central for your success, right? We hear time and again that every company on this planet is a technology company. That is true, right? No, look at any firm for that matter. You know, today, if you're talking about across the country in India, we talk about I would say Swiggy being one of the aggregator where you can order anything anywhere and it gets delivered, right? Or you want to you want to you want to hand off something to be delivered somewhere else, they do pick up and drop as well. But that means every single I would say business entity participating in this ecosystem, they are recipient of this technology. They're the beneficiary of the technology that way, significant way, right? So tech intensity is something that each of us have to demonstrate, and that probably will complement the overall Uber theme of tech intensity at an enterprise level. But as I said earlier, while we're talking about so much of technology, it's all goodness, right? It's all technology. It's all fantastic innovations being done all over the board. Again, I say this. We've heard this many times. Looking at the number of building blocks that we have on Azure, be it web, be it mobile, be it integration, be it AI, B2BI, databases, IoT, machine learning. I mean, the list is never ending. I think AI itself is a massive stream itself. Integration, people who probably have spent significant time building APIs, right? API economy more than ever is required today because if you look at the two personas emerging, right? Citizen developer, citizen data scientist. And for a citizen developer, right? I mean, it's a handshake between citizen developer and a business user. I mean, citizen developer and a professional developer, right? That means professional developers will focus on building services, be it a microservices based architecture or exposing services in API. And eventually, the citizen developers are the beneficiaries of these APIs. That means API economy doesn't matter, retail, banking, manufacturing doesn't matter, but API economy is a foundation in a technology community today. And as developers, if you're looking at building solutions for tomorrow, today and tomorrow, I would say, what matters most is total experience, right? This is again, as I said earlier, everything that happens today with location independence, right, with people centricity and resilient businesses, right? So all of that, the foundation of that would be total experience, and it's better demonstrated with tech intensity complementing the dire need when it comes to looking at technology, experiencing technology, and eventually building something meaningful for the businesses, right? So with that, I'll take a pause here. I said 25 minutes. Yes, I've taken 25 minutes just to pass on this message to each one of you. I know this is a couple of days of conference, and I'm sure each of you will spend your significant time in this conference and get together, network, and get to hear some of the great talks from other friends of mine in the community. So once again, Ilyas and Bone team, thank you so much for inviting me. This is something which I look forward to every single year because what you guys are doing is very, very meaningful because not only you're enriching lives of other techies, but you're bringing together people so that we get to interact, network, and understand what's happening outside world. If it was in-person event, it was easy for us to relate to, hey, you know what, this is event is, let's go check what's happening, get a pulse. But in the current times, out of sight, out of mind is the reality. So thanks for doing this event. Thanks for inviting me. Once again, good luck each one of you, and back to you, Williams.